Today's session, as the topic was given to me, was quality assurance in the apparel industry. I'll just share my presentation. Just share a window. You're able to see my screen?
Yes, madam, it is visible.
Okay, great. So, quality assurance in the apparel industry. Methods Apparel Consultancy is my company's name, and as the name suggests, we change the way people work. Methods stands for that. And since today's topic is focused on quality, I would not go into any other detail, and I've prepared this for. It's a 2-hour session. In case anybody wants to interact in between or wants to put their views in between, or there's certain queries in between, you're most welcome to do that, please. Or in the end, we can also keep a session for. I mean, it's a hard work after lunch. I have to keep you up. So you all are, just a sec. Okay, just a sec. Yeah. So what is quality? These are the topics that we're going to cover today. The first being what is quality. We will define quality. Although everybody knows what is quality, but we need to still give proper words to it. Quality assurance, quality control, quality management, quality tools. So these are the topics which are all related to quality assurance as well. So we will have to go through each one. And what are the quality tools, various tools which are used in the industry to measure the quality performance. What is the difference between quality assurance and quality control? What is TQM? All of that we will discuss today. Our industry, if you see, is with respect to quality, is sitting at a level where any company has like from 10 to 30% defect rate. So it's quite high and it's quite enormous, and it really hampers the productivity in a very, very I would say harmful ways, because our productivity is only 45 to 60%. And one of the major reason for being that low is also a quality, I would say the right time, right first time quality not being able to be up to the mark. So although we deliver quality, I'm not saying we do not deliver the quality products, but the cost at which we deliver and do we produce right first time is a very big question mark. So that means we when we do produce quality, and if there is a 10% or 20% alteration or repair rate, that is adding a lot of cost and costing us a lot of productivity, is being hampered due to that aspect. So it's very, very important for us to focus on this area because it has direct relation with the productivity. Although people say quality and productivity, if you really go very high quality, the productivity might be low. But in my opinion, if you standardize your processes and you do right first time, your productivity will be much higher. So that's the name of the game. We have to reach to a quality level where where the processes are so streamlined, the quality is inbuilt into the process, where people have the focus on the productivity, but productivity which is based on quality. So whenever we teach anybody anything, the three preferences that are there in any operational process is: the first is safety, that at first you have to ensure the safety. Secondly, you have to ensure the quality, and the third is productivity. And that's the order of events. That's how the process should be set up. So in case you compromise with safety, or in case you compromise with quality, productivity does not mean anything. Production without quality is no production. So that's the whole idea. We have to keep that order in place. For example, if we compromise with safety, but we have quality, that also is no good at all. Because so safety in all circumstances comes first, and then productivity, and then quality, and then productivity. Because if you focus on productivity first, you'll never achieve the quality. The whole idea is to slowly and steadily start with the quality oriented method, then build the stamina on that method, and then produce the productivity. So that's how you will show the quality. So what is quality? What is quality? Quality, so many people have different perceptions of quality. Somebody says something is really great, somebody says it's an excellent product, marvelous. There's so many sort of adjectives to it. So it's superb, outstanding, best, top of the line, great, strong, something. So there are all those words are associated to the quality, to a product which is of high quality. So every person has a different, it's a mindset. Quality is a mindset more than anything else. So in technical terms, when we come to quality or defining to quality, quality is meeting the requirement, expectations, and need of the customer. So basically we have a customer, we have a producer. So when the customer is placing an order, he has certain level of expectation. You go to the market, you buy certain product, you have certain perception. Even for example, I go to buy tomatoes in the market, so I have a certain quality of tomato that, so if you see India, not India, I mean everywhere, we whenever we go to a veggies seller, we are picking and choosing each one. So what are we picking for? We're picking it for quality. So that's why, so we are picking tomatoes which are red, which are firm. So and there is no rotten tomato. So all of that is our requirement, is what it should be: a nice quality, it should be a firm, it should be red, it should be properly ripe, it should not be rotten. All of that is, it should be clean and neat. So that those are our need as a customer to buy a tomato. So similarly, when in the apparel industry, the customers have certain need. For example, when they're buying the apparel, it has to be visually appealing, it has to be technically fit, aesthetics has to be proper, the measurements have to be proper. So all those are the needs of the customers and expectations of the customer. So that's basically, and all the processes that fulfill these requirements come under the purview of quality. So the customer wants a product which is defect free, which is, which lacks all these substantial variants. That means it does not deviate from the expected standards. So different customer requirements, of course. Now, when it comes to customer, they have a varied portfolio. So somebody wants a regular fit, slim fit, style, all of that. So there are different styles, different products have different quality standards. So depending on the customer need, we need to ensure the customer, we need to understand the customer expectation, and then need to ensure that we inbuilt those practices in our processes so that we can produce a quality product. Now, what does quality stand for? So this is just an acronym which is expanded further. So it is certainly always a quest for excellence, and understanding of customer needs is very, very essential for that. It also encompasses all the actions that that basically we take to achieve the customer appreciation or get the customer delight. Leadership determination to be the leader. That means you have to be the leader in terms of quality, in terms of defects free, involving all people. That quality is not a responsibility of one person. It's got to be everybody who's going to be responsible. Then, and in order to have everybody to be responsible, we need to have the essential teamwork, and of course it needs to set a yardstick to measure the progress where you are. If we do not measure, first thing, anything you want to improve, you have to start measuring. So first step to improving anything is to put all the measuring tools in place. So if you want to improve quality, you have to measure quality, and their quality controls tools are there to measure. In Now there are a lot of types of quality, so, and you can read that in different quality the customers, so the customer does not notice. So there are so many things that we as a customer also do not see, or do not notice. Then there is expected quality. So then is the quality that customer expects. For example, if I want to if I go to buy a particular garment, and let's say the garment was folded under a pile of clothes and the collar is now not as ironed, So, but I know that after the ironing, it will be fine. If I like the product and everything else is fine, that particular aspect that the collar was not being ironed at that stage I may not notice, or I may choose to ignore it because it is fulfilling all the others. And I know that once I iron it will be fine. So it was because it was under a pile, therefore there was a crease. But but there are other expectations that I have. So that is then there is one dimensional quality, exciting quality. So when we actually exceed the customer requirement, and that's what the level that we need to aim for is. So we need to exceed the customer requirement in order to achieve the customer delight. So that's the level which is the most desirable level. Coming to the dimension of quality, so it needs to, now if you see quality, it needs to conform to the performance for which it is the product is made. It has to have all the features that are desired by the customer. It has to have the reliability. It has to have the conformance to all the measurements and all the technical aspects. It's got to be durable. It's got to be serviceable. It has to look aesthetic. So it has to meet all the perceived quality criteria in order to be a quality product. So all these features have to be fulfilled. Now coming to the performance, that means it refers to the efficiency with which a product achieves its intended purpose. So if the product is for winter, it's got to protect us from the winter. Coming to the features, so it attributes to the product that supplement a product's basic performance. So basic performance, button बंद ही नहीं होता है, button बंद करना, button लगा है तो button properly बंद होना is a basic performance. Reliability, the propensity of a product to consistently perform. So consistently perform, that means even after 2 washes, it should not be, the product should not be damaged. So conformance, that means all the measurements, that they fit, all of that must be proper. The color should not fade out. In terms of durability, so it can wear, the wear and tear, it should be able to tolerate that. But like for example, in the case of children, the button pull test, all of those tests which are there for durability, the product has to conform to that. Serviceability, ease of repair, that means, well, that probably in apparel फट जाए तो सिल जाए, but that's not how it should be. But there are so many other products for which serviceability is very, very important. We buy a fridge, we want it to be serviceable. We buy a car, we want it to be serviceable. So aesthetics, it needs to look good. It has to have all these sensory characteristics in place. So particularly, of course, aesthetic in terms of apparel needs to, it relates to look and feel. But in case of taste, that in case of food item, it might be according to the taste, feel, and how it looks and how it smells. So different product have different sensory characteristics, and the product needs to fulfill under that area. Perceived quality, so based on the customer opinion, the customer basically, when they buy a product, they have certain set of expectations from that, and based on that understanding, whether the product is fulfilling on that area or not. Cost of quality. Now, quality is not free. Quality comes at a cost. Unless we build our processes so strong that we do not need any additional resource to ensure quality, quality has a lot of cost associated to it. And the cost of conformance, basically, what do you do in order to ensure that the measurement of the product is right? So that is the cost for which, for example, your pattern marker will make the pattern, they'll do proper grading, they'll check every stage, there will be checklists. So all of the resources that are being used in order to ensure that the product is being produced to this set of all the set of expectations and the set of standards that the customer wants. So all the such costs which are associated to ensuring that part is cost of quality. So cost of conformance and cost of non-conformance is equal to cost of quality. Now you would say, what is cost of non-conformance? So cost of conformance is everything to do with delivering the product that meets requirement and fitness for use. And cost of non-conformance means that taking the responsibility for failures or not meeting quality expectations. So there are times when if the product is not meeting, let's say the buyer puts a claim, that is also cost of quality, cost of non-conformance, because you have to then take the responsibility for not meeting the quality expectation. Components of quality. So quality planning, quality control, quality assurance, quality improvements. So this is how, so we need to start with quality planning, and then we need to do quality assurance, quality control, and continuously we have to again strive to do quality improvements, because quality improvement is a process which is a evolving process, which is a continual process. So when it comes to quality planning, however, quality planning is identifying which quality standards are relevant to the product and determining how to satisfy the customer. So when you plan for a certain quality level, you have to look at the quality standards that are most relevant to the customer, most relevant to the product, and also determining how to satisfy the customer. A factory who's doing five different buyers may have quality planning in place for differently for different buyers, because the requirement of the products, the requirement of the customer may be different. So every customer has a certain expectation, and every product has certain areas in which it needs to conform. So the factory needs to be very, very vigilant on this. The quality plan is a document or several documents, not just one, where we are listing everything together to specify the quality standards, practices, resource specific. So there's the complete quality manual. If you see old buyers also have a very elaborate 200 पेज के क्वालिटी मैनुअल होते हैं बायर्स के, टू लिस्ट एवरी सिंगल, अगर मुझे बटन चाहिए तो क्या क्या स्टैंडर्ड चाहिए, अगर मुझे कपड़ा चाहिए तो क्या क्या स्टैंडर्ड चाहिए, लैब टेस्ट कौन कौन से पास चाहिए, क्या टॉलरेंस लेवल है मेजरमेंट पे, एवरी सिंगल थिंग. सो एवरी सिंगल कस्टमर हैज long elaborate quality manual, which is actually the quality planning document for them, and the factory has to follow that. And of course, this is in case of exports, but in case of domestic, you have to develop your own manual, because you have to, if you're targeting to develop a product which is quality oriented, which is high quality product, you have to do the quality planning. So identifying the customer, determining their needs, this is the process in which the quality planning will take place. Specifying the product features and that satisfy those that need at the minimum cost. Of course, we don't want to increase the cost. Designing the process that can reliably produce those features. So what will be the best way to produce that good in the expected level of quality at the minimum cost is basically how we are planning. These are the quality planning steps. Now coming to the strategic quality planning, so it goes a step further. We have to understand how the organization views the quality. So understanding the customer's strategic needs and desires, determining how quality is vital to the organization mission. So many companies, if you the world-class companies, have a quality vision and quality mission. So including the quality in the vision and the value statement, recognizing how quality methods can help the organization close the gap between the current state and the future state. So companies have set benchmarks. Let's say I'm right now on a 2.5 AQL level, but I want to achieve 1.5 at the end of 6 months. So that is my strategic quality planning. Now, what are the steps in which I have to, work for? What all things will I have to put in place in the process setting up so that I achieve this 1.5 AQL level? So there's a lot of preparation which is required to do that. So commit to using internal assessment methods to understand the effectiveness of the action taken. So if I have put 5 processes in place, then I have to have another process in place, which is the assessment process, internal assessment process, in order to see that the 5 ways that I put in place, are they actually working or not? What is the kind of result they are doing? And then embrace a framework or management system regarding the technical planning for quality. So every single thing needs to be measured. There is got to be benchmark. There's got to be process set. There's got to be an SOP. for every single step down the line to improve the quality. So, an overview or introduction of the product or process. So what are the requirements for that? So first of all, we need to do we need the complete overview of the product or the process. So we want to improve a product, we want to improve the quality of a product or a process, we need to have a complete overview of that. Then detailing the background, needs, scope, activity, important dates and deadlines. So every single thing needs to be listed. The organization structure, organization chart, detailing the necessary team members. So there's got to be a structure. For example, if I want to ensure the quality assurance, I need a quality auditor, I need a quality checker, I need to train the operators about the quality awareness. My supervisor should be a quality aware. The production management team should know what are the expected level of quality performance. So all of that needs to be listed out. So in order to ensure each team member's responsibility and qualification necessary to fulfill the stated duties. So who will be responsible for what needs to be. So everybody's KRAs need to be defined. The operator is also responsible for quality. So is the supervisor and so is the quality checker. So all of them have to be available, have to be responsible. But there is a limit to everybody's responsibility. So that needs to be known and trained to everybody. So work verification, for example, who is responsible for carrying out a certain task, at what interval, who is responsible for checking the work, supplier, what are the standards of the customer or the supplier. So a list of qualified supplier. So nowadays, if you see, the buyers are also, not nowadays, it's a long time now, the buyers are always nominating the supplier. So you have to buy the fabric from XYZ only. So you cannot just go beyond, because their quality performance, their quality standards have been accepted by the customer. So you can't just buy from anybody else. So there are, if you see, all the big brands have nominated suppliers for trims, for accessories, for fabric, for every single thing. So there is no such thing as a free will in with reputed brands now, actually. So testing parameters have to be defined, performance standards, how performance will be documented, acceptance criteria. So under which condition the product will be accepted. So it's got to meet X, Y, Z, all the criteria, the checklist, the deliverables, and the complete feedback mechanism for internal or external customer feedback has got to be in place in order to do the quality planning. So quality control procedures, audit, training, as I said, corrective action, preventive action, suggestive corrective action if something went wrong. So there's got to be a backup for backup. Then there is 3 elements of quality planning. So first being the quality assurance, then quality control, and then quality management. So coming to the quality assurance, and that's broadly the topic that we have taken today, but since it involves a lot, it's a broad term, it's not a specific, so I have to cover all the area around it. So quality assurance is a way of preventing mistakes or defects in manufacturing products and avoiding problems when delivering products or services to the customer. So basically, by doing quality assurance, we are in a way trying to prevent the mistakes. So it's a preventive measure, right? And QA is a process-driven approach that facilitates and defines goals regarding product design, development, and product. So it's basically a process-driven approach. That means we need to build processes in such a way. There's a saying that quality has got to be built in the product, not inspected in the product. So that is what quality assurance is all about. It's got to be built. That means each process, when I define in order to manufacture the product, each process has got to be defined in such a way that when you follow that process, quality will automatically be achieved. So QA's primary goal is tracking and resolving deficiencies before the product release. That means we are trying to, for example, let's say we have to make a garment. So if we ensure that the fabric quality is fine, trims quality is up to the mark, then we also ensure the patterns are up to the mark, then we ensure the cutting is up to the mark. So if we are ensuring each process which is up to the mark, then there's a high chance that the stitching will also be up to the mark. But if we do not ensure the other stages, And we start checking the quality only at the final stage after the garment has come out after stitching. Then there is a high chance that the product will not meet the standard. So we have to go to micromanagement level, micromanage the product quality so that we built the processes in such a way. Now, each process, for example, cutting, I just said broadly cutting is right, but how the cutting will be right? There's got to be a process of checking the marker. There's got to be a process of, when you lay the brown sheet, you have to ensure the exact cad length. You have to ensure that you're laying the optimum number of plies. You have to ensure you're following an optimum lay length. You have to ensure the person who is doing the cutting is a trained person. You have to ensure that the knife of the cutter is sharp enough, or he's sharpening the knife at a regular interval. So all of these processes, now, if you have defined to an extent that every 30 seconds you have to sharpen the knife, so that is a process that the person needs to do, and that's an SOP that you follow. So that means you are now trying to build the quality into the product. I hope you're getting the point. So basically, all the actions that we take in advance in order to prevent the mistakes that may happen in the manufacturing process. So that is basically quality assurance. So in terms of quality assurance, so basically there is improvement, there's satisfaction, business, service, call customer, all these aspects are taken care. We are taking care of standards, we are taking care of customer satisfaction. The business is happening both ways. See, the objective of quality assurance is basically managing a good manufacturing practices, because unless we do good manufacturing practices, quality will never be achieved. Quality will never be inbuilt into the process. Managing good laboratory practices, because we have a lot of testing parameters, so we need to have that in place. Managing a safety program, as I said, the safety is the first step before even we begin to do the quality. Assuring the quality of raw materials, because that is where the whole thing starts. Assuring the quality and traceability of finished products, so we have to go up to the end, of course. And then evaluating the plant environment, so how the environment is there. So let's say the plant is not ventilated enough and everybody's been sweating, and when you sweat, there's a lot of sweat stains are there, or there's so many things which will again contribute to the mistakes that the people are doing if the place environment is not proper. So everything contributes, even the environment contributes in which you manufacture the product. So if you're manufactured in a very cluttered place, the place is not neat and clean, that means the goods you produce are going to be again dirty. So that means there would be a lot of stains, you might have a lot of rejects, the defect rate would be higher. So the one thing leads to another. It's a vicious circle. The general principles of quality assurance, it's got to be fit for the purpose, the product should be suitable for the intended purpose, and that's the most important thing, right first time. We need to aim for right first time, because if we do that, we are also improving a lot of productivity, not just the quality. So the whole idea is to focus on right first time. Sorry. So the mistakes should be eliminated. In fact, the mistakes should not be happening at me. Eliminated. I mean, you have to set the process in such a way that there is no mistake happening. So the product is right first time. Otherwise, you're mending all the time. So quality assurance, you have to have a mission, objectives, quality audit procedures in place, allocating the resources according to the need, and you have to continually do the quality improvement. So there's no, today, if we are sitting at a defect rate of 5%, I want to benchmark for 3 in the next 3 months. So it's a continuous process. And unless I achieve Six Sigma and no defects. So, and we are far, far from that level in our industry. So activities that are involved in the quality assurance is, of course, the first being the planning, then the data collection, the quality control, documentation, evaluation, all the reporting activities. So all of this is part of the quality assurance. You've got to do the planning, and as we said, we have to develop the manual. So quality assurance has to deal with benefits. Of course, the first benefit is the biggest benefit, which is the customer satisfaction. Your products or your company are reliable, you gain much more confidence, and then cost effectiveness, because once your defect rate is low, if you're doing right first time, that means cost of quality is less, so you're producing at a minimum cost. And of course it adds always add value to the business if your products are quality products. So quality assurance is inspection of documents, set of documents, supplier qualifications, proficiency, testing programs, maintenance of SOPs, failure compliant management, training of staff, internal, external audits. All of this comes under quality assurance. Now you will realize there's no quality checking here. Quality assurance is not quality checking. That comes under quality control, and we'll discuss that in detail, how both of them are different. So components of quality assurance. Now, there are three levels of quality assurance. First, strategic level, which is the long-term decision. So if I want to have zero defect in the long term, what should be my quality policy? But in the mid-term, medium term, I need to have training, facilities, lab, operational documents, SOPs, all in place. Then at the operation level, day to day, SOPs, worksheets, check sheet, checklists, everything has got to be in place in order to ensure the quality at the operational level. Functions of quality assurance. So the first thing is to maintain standard and specification for all the raw materials and finished products. So finished products, a button in itself is a finished product. The zipper in itself is a finished product, but we need to ensure the quality of that. But it is still a raw material for us. To give service to the company in all the areas related to product quality, including troubleshooting, productions, facilities, designing. So it starts right from the design product development stage. So it's not that, so many times I've seen in the factories where the product is designed, product is approved as well, but the production has a hell of a lot of difficulties in meeting the standard that the product development team created. So it's got to be production friendly as well, in order to ensure that the product is feasible at a mass level. The expected level of quality are feasible and possible at a mass production level as well. To produce information that is accurate, reliable, adequate for the intended purpose. Evaluating performance, we have to. So it's a continuous process. How will we improve if we do not measure it? So evaluating the performance, service of the quality of the product against a system standards. Now coming to the quality control. So quality assurance, I hope you understand in detail what is quality assurance. And the quality control. Now quality control is defined as a process that is used to ensure the quality of the product or services that it provides, but it is not involved in the production of the product. Rather, it focuses on the quality of the products that are made. So basically, if you see, quality assurance starts right from the first step. That means before the manufacturing. But the quality control starts when the products are made. That means already you have made. So now we are going to inspect. So QC is a set of activities for ensuring the quality of products. The activities emphasizing determining defects in the definite product produced. So basically you produce 50, how many defects you produce. So basically it's the activity of quality controls comes into play when the product has passed the development stage and comes into manufacturing stage. So now while being the manufacturing, we are trying to do the quality control. Quality assurance is focused on preventing defects, and quality control is focused on identifying defects. So obviously, the first thing you have to put in place is we have to put in place all the procedures, all the quality planning, all the standards, all the SOPs in place so that we do not have defects. Then the quality control, which is basically identity. So, but the thing is, we do not stop at there. we are also going a step further now. We are also checking every single thing, and in order to see the defects, where the defects are still coming. So we are identifying defects at each stage, which comes under quality control. Now, so this slide gives you a definition of quality assurance and quality control in terms of focus, objectives, approach. So if you see the quality assurance the aim is to prevent defects. So with a focus on the process used to make the product. So thus making a proactive quality. So basically this is a proactive measure. We are trying to inbuild the quality. Then when it comes to QC, it is aiming to identify and correct the defects in the finished product. So it's a reactive process. That means product is made. Now we are trying to check it. चेक करने के बाद हमें पता चलता है कि इसमें ये डिफेक्ट है, फिर हम उसका करेक्टिव मेजर लेंगे, फिर वो एक रिएक्टिव प्रोसेस बन जाता है. हालांकि प्रोएक्टिव मेजर इज बेसिकली जहां पे हमने सारी सावधानियां सब कुछ, we have taken it right from the beginning. We have put in all the SOPs, we put all the standards, we put all the documentation, we did all the planning in place. Coming to the objectives, so objective of QA is to improve development and test processes. So basically, right from the development stage, we are trying to improve the quality so that the defects do not arise. So what we are trying to say is कि भाई इतना अच्छा process कर दो कि defect आए ही नहीं. So this is a step in producing right first time. Whereas the quality control, the objective is to determine defects after a product is developed. So एक तो है कि हमने पहले सावधानियां ले ली, और दूसरा है कि when we are basically trying to then check what all defects are coming, and then we'll do the root cause. So that's a later step. Coming to the approach of it, so the approach of quality assurance is to establish a good quality management system and the assessment of its adequacy, periodic conformance, auditing of the operation. So basically it's a verification process. So that means you are auditing you're putting the auditing procedures in place in order to verify whether the product is conforming to the standards or not. And then in QC, we are basically finding and eliminating the sources of quality problems. So it's a validation process. So for example, testing or checking each garment is a quality control activity. Again, quality assurance versus quality control. So quality assurance is a part of quality management focus on providing confidence that quality.
But we are not able to see your PPT.
Oh, really? Since when?
I don't know. From the last 2-3 slides, I'm able to see it. Probably earlier I think that it is my fault.
नहीं, मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया. Just a sec. You should say right from then on. Now. अभी आ रहा है सर आपको?
हाँ, yes, अभी आ रहा है. Now it is present.
कहाँ से नहीं आ रहा था? From which slide onwards?
बहुत आगे से नहीं आ रहा था मैम.
You should have told.
After cost of quality, उसके बाद से नहीं आ रहा.
Oh my God. You want me to do it again?
You can have a quick recap.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, fine. Cost of quality तो बहुत पहले था. Sorry. Maybe I'm doing it a little faster also, is it? Quality plan. Let me just. Oh yeah, this is cost of quality. Okay.
Okay, no problem, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, ma'am. Please share your PPT, ma'am, for help.
Yeah, okay, no problem. We'll share it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So, okay, cost of quality. Components of quality. So these are the 4 components: quality planning, quality control, quality assurance. I'll quickly go through it. Then coming to quality planning, because I have been talking a lot on quality planning. So basically quality planning is identifying which quality standards are relevant to the product and determining how to satisfy the customer. So basically quality planning, when it comes to planning, it's basically a set of documents or a complete set of documents which specify all the standards, practices, resource specification, and the sequence of activities in which a product has to be made in order to meet the standards. And the steps. So we need to identify the customer, we need to determine the need of the customer, then we have to specify every single thing, the product feature that we need to produce in order to satisfy at a minimum cost, and designing the process that can reliably produce these features. So all of this is not there. Wow. Don't be a silent audience, please. If this happens again, you have to tell me right there only. Understand how the organization views quality. So this is from the organization. It's a very bigger level that we do, a very higher level. And what are the requirements of the quality planning? How do we go about it? Continuing with this, then okay. These are the elements for quality planning, and then we go to quality assurance. So I have been talking about quality assurance. So quality assurance is a way of preventing mistakes or defects in manufacturing products and avoiding problems when delivering products or services to the customer. So basically it's a process-driven approach, as I said, and it facilitates and defines goals regarding product design, development, and production. So QA's primary goal is basically tracking and resolving deficiencies before the product is released. So even it starts at the product development stage. So quality assurance is all to do with the guarantees, the improvements, the satisfaction, customer satisfaction. You assure business, you service. And objectives of quality assurance is basically the first being that you have to manage good manufacturing practices. My voice is audible to you?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, because I hear a very, yeah, it's fine. Is it better? I was hearing a very weird sound, all constant, but now it's gone. Assuring the quality of raw materials, managing the safety programs, all of these slides I went through. If you want me to go into detail of each, I can go again. So the first and general principle is that it's got to be fit for the purpose. The product should be suitable for the intended purpose. And then right first time, the mistakes should be eliminated. The whole objective of the exercise is to start doing right first time. So we do not have incur costs and for checking it and so these are the steps in quality assurance. So first you have to have the mission statement in place, the objectives, the quality audit. Allocating the resources in order to ensure the quality assurance and the quality improvement happens on a continuous basis. So you have to have planning, data collection, quality control, evaluation, all reporting in place, documentation in place. Benefits, so the first is being customer satisfaction. So reliability, confidentiality, cost effectiveness, business value addition, all of these are big benefits of the quality assurance. Importance, why is it so important? As I said, it's on 3 levels: strategic level, tactical level, and operational level. So strategic level being the long-term quality policy of the organization. Tactical level is medium term. That means all the training, the SOPs, the facilities, the operations which are in place, the KRAs of QAs. Operational level is day-to-day operations, the SOPs. for in every single process. So micromanagement of daily activities comes under that. So functions of quality assurance is first of all to maintain standard and specification of all raw materials and finished products, then to give service to the company in all areas related to product quality, including troubleshooting, visiting productions, facilities, designing and training quality control panel. Then in order to produce information that is accurate, reliable and adequate, evaluating performance. Then comes the quality control. So quality control is defined as a process that is used to ensure the quality of the product or services that it provides, but it is not involved in the production of the product. Rather, it focuses on the quality of the products that are made. So basically, हम quality control तब शुरू करते हैं जब product बन रहा है या बन चुका है. हालांकि quality assurance is different to this. Quality assurance starts much earlier, and it's got to do all with the processes. But QC is a set of activities that are basically ensuring quality of the product, and they emphasize on determining the defects that are occurring. So basically इसमें focus जो है वो defect के ऊपर है rather than putting the processes in place. So that is the activity of quality controls comes into play when the product has passed the development stage and comes into manufacturing stage. So QA versus QC. So it basically, this slide tells you that in terms of focus, in terms of objective, and in terms of approach, how QA and QC works differently. So QA aims to prevent defects with a focus on the process used to make the product. So this is a proactive quality process. That means डिफेक्ट आने से पहले हम इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कि प्रोसेस किस तरह से करें कि डिफेक्ट आए ही नहीं. And the quality control is basically identifying and correcting the defects. So identify and correct in the finished product. So it's a reactive process. In the terms of objective, the objective of the QA is to improve development and test process. So all the things improve development and test process so that defects do not arise when the product is being developed. The objective of the QC is to determine defects. So basically QC में हम सारा कुछ चेक कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद हमें आएगा to establish a good, so in terms of approach, to establish a good quality management system and the assessment of its adequacy, periodic conformance audit. So all the, it's a verification. It is based on verification, whereas the quality control is based on validation. So to find and eliminate sources of quality problems, so through tools and equipment, so that the customer requirements are continually met. Now, I think we were on this slide so this is basically quality assurance versus quality control. So a part of quality management focus on providing confidence that quality requirements will be fulfilled, whereas in the quality control, a part of quality management focused on fulfilling the quality requirements. So basically here it is ensuring that the quality requirement will be fulfilled, where it is ensuring here that they are fulfilled, because we are checking every single thing. So in quality assurance, there's a planned and systematic activities implemented within the quality system to provide confidence that a product or services will fulfill the requirement. And whereas in the quality control, the operational techniques and activities are used to fulfill requirement for the quality. Number 3 is a complete system to ensure the quality of product or services, where quality control is just measure and determine the quality level of the product. It is a process itself. So it's a process itself. It's like, inspecting the quality into a product, whereas we are building the quality into product. So QA is process oriented, whereas QC is product oriented, because we are checking quality into the product. Number 2 is focuses on making the product and providing services to the customer, which is involved in making the end product. Where in the quality control, we are focusing on ensuring the excellent quality of the product. That means we are checking each product, then again repairing, altering as well, in order so that product do meet the standard. The aim of the QA is to improve development and test processes so that bugs do not arise when the product is being developed. Whereas aim of the QC is to identify defect after a product is developed and therefore it is released. It's basically preventive and corrective. So QA is certainly preventive and QC is corrective. Full product development life cycle is involved in QA, whereas full product testing life cycle is involved. So अब बन गया एक बार, उसके बाद जब सब कुछ हो गया उसके बाद हम quality control करते हैं. So quality assurance, further quality assurance versus quality control. So the main motive of a quality assurance tester is to prevent all the defects in the system. कि हमारा भाई लूप होल है. For example, हमने pattern बनाया, pattern के बाद we are not checking the pattern. So it's a loophole in the system. So in order to prevent that, we will put a SOP in place. So, but in the quality control, the main motive of the QC is to identify and improve if there is any deformity in the system. Then the presence of the entire team is required for the quality testing. For quality assurance, we need quality right from the product development team because we are involving everyone. Whereas in the quality control, we only need the people who are directly involved with that process. So here, for example, entire team is required for quality testing, but here only the testing team is required. So quality assurance is performed before quality control is done. And quality control process takes place after quality assurance. So first you need to ensure that every single thing is in place. And then, even then, in spite of putting all the procedures, all the documentation, all the planning, all the SOPs in place for doing the quality assurance, you still are doing quality control in order to ensure that the product is still defect free. So quality assurance falls under validation activity and quality control falls into verification activity. And quality assurance is considered as a managerial tool, whereas quality control is considered as a corrective tool. QA does not involve in the execution of program. QC always involves executing the program. So अगर कोई repair आ रही है तो वो जाके QC जो है वो वहाँ पे खड़े होके उसको ठीक भी करवाते हैं. So role of quality control team. So the first thing is to check raw material and confirm for use in cutting, sewing process. So right from the first, even in the fabric stage, fabric will come, it will be inspected by the quality checkers, which is a quality control team. Then at the time of cutting, then there is a cut panel inspection. Then there is at the sewing, we have end line, and roaming QC. So all these procedures are under quality control. Then checking the quality pattern of, then checking the cutting quality pattern, cut parts, check the sewing process, as I said. So 100% inspection of the stitching pieces and moving the quality garment for the finishing. And even in finishing, then we are again checking. So checking garment after washing and finishing stage up to packaging of goods. In a apparel industry, generally, if I include the fabric, then cut panel stage, then inline, then end line, then finishing 2 times checking, measurement checking, there are at least 7 to 8 checking processes that are happening on a constant basis, which are completely, from a lean perspective, is non-value added activities, but essential non-value added activities in some way. But if we put the quality assurance in place, these 8 stages might be reduced to 4, provided you have a very well-defined solid quality assurance in place. So that's where it will make a difference. Measuring the actual performance of the product, establish a measurement procedures and measuring. So role of quality control team. So the role of quality control team is to operate and correct the process so that it performs with optimal effectiveness. Compare the actual performance with goals. Do the action on differences. So there is any deviation to the standard, there is corrective action needs to take place. Establishing a measurement and procedure for measuring. So how do I measure the quality? Measurement ke liye, it's easy to put the tolerance, to compare it with the tolerance. But in order to, so there is various ways to measure, in terms of aesthetics, which work with and the measurements. So when it comes to visual, then there are different zones in the garment. So for example, there's zone A, B, and C. Whatever you see in the front or most important part, which is the most appealing or making the garment more attractive. For example, in the shirt, the collar, the front, the pocket, these are all A zone. Then coming to the back, which comes to B zone. So then there are underarm area or the area of the shirt that will be tucked in into the trouser, again is a C zone. So there are different zones in a garment, and depending on the defect where in which zone it is, a minor defect in A zone might be critical, but a minor defect in C zone might be okay. So depending on where it occurs, it makes a lot of difference. So interpreting the differences between the measurement and the goal, taking actions to correct significant differences. All of these are coming under the quality control activities, the role of the quality control team. So all of the above checks are necessary to avoid failure of final inspection, rejection of shipment, and control on the cost of manufacturing, control over manufacturing cost. Because if you do not do this, your manufacturing cost may be even higher and your productivity may go even lower. So coming to the next important thing which is there for today is total quality management. So the total means it's made up of the whole. That means every single person in the organization is involved into it. Quality is the degree of excellence a product or service provides, and management is basically the act or the art of the manner of planning, controlling, directing. So total quality management, if we combine all these things, basically we are saying that in totality we have a certain set degree of excellence that we are able to do while doing the manufacturing the products, and we are managing in such a way that we have proper planning, controlling, and directing the entire process. So TQM is the art of managing the whole to achieve excellence in a nutshell. So art of managing the whole to achieve excellence will, and very few companies have TQM implemented because it involves every single person, even every single operator. And particularly in India, I, I think we still have a lot of, a far way to go because the culture, the involvement, the absenteeism, the migratory nature of people, there's so many hurdles to it that we are not able to go to this level of quality management. So total quality management, it's the approach of the management. So everything comes from top, always. So it's the approach of management to achieve long-term success by focusing on customer satisfaction. So the entire focus of the whole entire activity is basically to ensure customer satisfaction under all scenarios. The organization works towards steady improvement in the quality at all stages of the production. So it is continually meeting agreed customer requirements at the lowest cost by releasing the potential of all the employees. That means every single person has to contribute towards quality. If I'm a pattern master, I have to do right first time. I have to ensure that whatever I do will again produce right first time. If I'm a merchandiser, again, I'm ensuring that I'm on top of everything which produces a good quality product. So if I'm a production guy, again, I'm ensuring my people are trained to produce right first time. So every single person has to contribute to it. Then only we will be able to achieve the lowest cost. If we do not do that, then lowest cost will never be achieved. So that means that the customer decides what the standard are. So when we are saying it needs to meet the customer expectation, it is not our expectation, it is customer expectation. It is reducing costs by getting it right first time. How do we reduce the cost? If we don't have to repair, then we are reducing the cost. So, and how do we achieve that state without repairing? That means we have to do the right first time. Avoiding waste. That means any waste in terms of There are 8 types of waste in an organization. So they are different. So there's waste in transportation, in motion, there could be inventory, there could be over processing, there could be overproduction, there could be, so I'm sure you all know about TIMWOOD. So TIMWOOD is basically 7 deadly wastes, delays, defects. Now if you see the defect, the term defect is actually called mother of all wastes. So if there's a defect, you are repeating all the other wastes. That means if there's a defect, transportation will happen. The part will go so from where. It will also increase the inventory. It will also increase the motions. It will then over processing will happen. It may also generate overproduction. And then again, it will delay the process. So all the wastes are again repeated if there is a defect. So defect is always called as mother of all the wastes. That is why it's really, really, harmful. So eliminating the errors, only doing the right thing that meet the customer need and add value and not cost. So it's very important. And it's very easy to add cost. आप checker के ऊपर checker के ऊपर checker बिठाते जाओ, you will ensure quality, but you'll also increase a lot of cost. So idea is not the approach of checker on checker is not the right approach. The approach is that everybody must commit to the quality and right first time. Everybody takes the ownership. Everybody is accountable for what they're doing and doing the right thing at the first time. So then you are not putting checker on checker. Then everybody is responsible for it. Okay, and it's possible in the world class factories may not have even checkers in place. The operators themselves are responsible for the quality, or the supervisor is responsible for the quality of his section. So cutting room is responsible for the cut material. So only by doing the right thing that meet the customer need do we achieve the total quality management, by harnessing everybody's commitment. So as I said, it's not just one person game. It is a game of everybody now. It's a team thing now. So just meeting our own standards. So, and what it is not, what TQM is not, it's not a luxury. It's not just meeting our own standards. We have to meet customer standards. Do things on the cheap. So that means do not do the easy way out. Do not compromise with the standards. Principles of quality management. So what are the principles? First of all, customer focus is the biggest thing. Leadership, engagement of people, process approach, continuous improvement, evidence-based approach, relationship management. All of these are basically part of the quality management, how we are building up quality management, how to implement TQM, very, very important. Now, the first and foremost thing, as I said, is commitment from employees. So not just the quality staff, it is employees, everybody. So quality improvement culture needs to be built in the place. Continuous improvement process. So today we are at X level. Tomorrow we have to be improve continually. So आज मेरा defect rate है 10% and my cost of quality is X rupees. Tomorrow I have to reduce the defect rate and reduce the cost as well. So how do I do that? So for that I need to involve everyone. So it's a continuous improvement. Then then cooperation from all the employees is very commitment, cooperation, focus on the customer requirement. Customer is the king. Effective control shall be laid down. And how it benefits, how TQM benefits to everybody. So the benefits to the company, to the employee, and to the customer. So to the company, first of all, when we are doing TQM, that means the first and foremost benefit is that we are improving the quality, improvement in quality, reducing the waste and defects, hence reducing cost, increasing productivity, resulting in faster growth of the company. So obviously there is a win-win situation for all of us in the TQM scenario, whether it's company, whether it's employee, or whether it's customer. So the idea is that if you do right first time, naturally your productivity will improve. And then once your productivity will improve, your company will grow. आप 10 बना रहे थे, आप 15 बना रहे हो, 12 बना रहे हो, so you are producing high. That means your cost of manufacturing will come down. That means you're earning more profits. Then benefits to employee, that means more training and improved abilities. So employee का भी क्या है? More recognition and rewards, because you are living in a very motivated environment. Everybody is being responsible for their own work. So, and you are also getting competent by training. So you have improved competence, and you get more rewards because you are meeting the customer satisfaction, benefit to the customer. Again, they have a greater satisfaction, better service, and less number of problems with the product. It's very important to place all the factors that actually may be responsible for failure of TQM, because it's very easy and looks really great on the paper that TQM can have so many benefits, it can create win-win situation, but it's not easy to do because there's a lot of people involved. So the first thing is lack of genuine quality culture. आई थिंक सबसे पहले तो ये कि टॉप मैनेजमेंट से कमिटमेंट ही नहीं आती है, जो सपोर्ट और टाइम और कमिटमेंट चाहिए, that is quite a big bottleneck for TQM. And over and under planes of SPC, statistical process control methods. So people do not have the very advanced methods of doing all the measurements in place, the tools in place. So people, आप जाएंगे companies में तो mostly the work happens in a very crude way. Okay, N-line checker, there might be reports and all those things. But when it comes to TQM, you're not just limited to the checkers. Everybody's got to be responsible. So the training is something which is really, really big part of TQM. How operators are trained, how supervisors are trained, the middle management, entire level, the store people, the cutting people. And people do not, the top management does not see this as a investment. They see this as a very big expense rather. So that's why it does not achieve the results that it can achieve. Employee involvement. So how employee involvement happens in TQM? Quality circle is a very well-known concept where a quality circle is a group of workers who do the same or similar work and meet regularly to identify, analyze, and solve work-related problems. Okay, so basically, if you go into automobile industry, this quality circle is a very, very active activity all the time. So they have quality circle, they have core committee, core members of the quality circle team. So उसमें होता क्या है, जो worker जो produce कर रहा है, goods को produce कर रहा है, similar nature के चीजों को produce कर रहे हैं. So they come together, meet, and then they discuss what are the kind of quality problems they're able to identify and analyze, and how can they solve it, because they are the people who are doers. They are the best people to actually identify where the mistakes are happening and how it can be resolved. So basically, companies who are world-class manufacturer companies, they actually form quality circles. So if there's any problem, the quality circle committee goes there. So to improve, why these are formed? To improve quality, productivity, safety, and reducing the cost. To give opportunity to the employees to use their wisdom and creativity. So we are not now saying, okay, आपकी कोई responsibility नहीं है. There would be quality assurance team आएगी, they will come and do. But here in TQM, here in quality circle, we are saying the operators can use their wisdom, they can use their creativity. So it takes you to a very different level where they are involved in it to promote team spirit. Now, when somebody is working in a team and somebody's have to have the analysis on a daily basis, and there's a lot of brainstorming happening, there will be a lot of team spirit, cohesive, harmonious culture developed. which will be basically among different levels and sections. So in that team, there could be supervisor. In that team, there could be production manager. In that team, there could be quality assurance head there, and the operator as well. So you are dealing with a different level of people, and everybody coming together to solve a certain problem. So everybody feels part of the solution now, not part of the problem. So you are trying to focus on the solution, and you are engaging everybody to form a solution, to use their own wisdom and creativity to form a solution, which makes a lot of difference, brings a lot of difference in the culture of the organization. So to endorse self and mutual development and leadership qualities. So it becomes very, very important here now, because a leader has to lead by the examples. So that's how you actually groom the people. You have to develop the people to fulfill the self-esteem and motivation needs of the employees, to develop the quality of work life of employees. So what are the properties of quality circle? So it's got to be participative. There can't be one person who will just come and speak, and nobody, the other person does not say anything. So it's got to be participative in nature, the management technique within the framework of a company. Team of 6 to 12 employees. So it's got to be volunteers. We are not forcing anyone, but it's got to be volunteers. That means person who have real interest in improving the quality will come forward and form the quality circle. Then define and solve a quality or performance related problem. So it's got to be a solution driven team which will come together. And this is a process in which it will take place. The first thing is that the team creates quality circle and collects the information. So let's say we have a team of 6 people and there is a problem that there is a puckering in a certain process, a certain product, and we are always continuously facing the puckering. Then team selects the problem to be resolved. So let's say the problem is that needs to be resolved is a puckering problem. Then team gathers the data and analyzes the problem. Gathers the data on how many percentage of garment there is a puckering problem coming. What operations are causing the puckering problem? Who are the operators who are sitting on those operations? What is the problem of which needle and which threads are being used? So all this is basically data for solving that problem. Why the problem is coming? Is there a stretch in the fabric? Is the equipment working right? So we are basically gathering all the data that we need to do the analysis. So once we do the analysis, then we need to do the rectification and then implement the solution. So we brainstorm, then we recommend the solution, then we implement the solution, then we follow whether the solution is working or not. So it's a very interesting way to do to resolve the problems and improve your quality performance overall. But it needs a very, very different management culture and the decision by the top management. So team recommend the solution, but the top management has to then see whether they want to accept or if they have any further issue with that. Or so individual benefits, creating a synergistic effect, leading to cost effectiveness, reduction in waste, better quality, higher productivity. So the benefits of quality circles are many. First of all, the self-development. When it is participative in nature, that means you are part of a group where you are giving your own contribution, your own knowledge, your own experience, you're enriching. That means you're also improving because you're listening to other 10 people as well. Then opportunity to attain the knowledge. Of course, your knowledge base increases. You become a potential leader because you have to lead by example. Enhanced communication skills since it is participative. Better job satisfaction because you're part of the solution now. And healthy work environment. And of course, there are so many organizational benefits because you solve one time the puckering problem. Then next time, it becomes very easy for you, the same problem. So you can document how it was sorted out earlier, and then you can refer to the documentation. All of that can happen. So, which is something which is very important. The next topic is basically 7 quality management tools. In order to do quality control or quality assurance, we need to measure quality. Rather, quality control, we need to measure quality. So there are 7 tools through which we measure quality. And these are very important in order to ensure the quality. So the first being Pareto chart, histogram, fishbone, control chart, scatter diagram, flow chart, check sheet. So these are all the tools that will ensure the quality assurance and quality control process and TQM, all of that can happen in a company. First thing being the check sheet. What is a check sheet? A check sheet is a form or document, or it's a checklist used to collect data in real time at the location where the data is generated. So in order to do, as you see in quality circles, we're collecting data to solve a problem, because anyway nowadays data is the king. So every single thing you can manage. If you have the data, you can solve a lot of problems. The data it captures can be quantitative or qualitative. It can be both nature. When the information is quantitative, the check sheet is sometimes called a tally sheet. Simple data recording device, so it's a checklist, systematically records and compiles data from sources. For example, this is a checklist in a t-shirt manufacturer. So skip stitch, how many are coming? First hour, second hour, third hour. So these are different problems. How many defects coming? So this is a way to record the data. Then there is a histogram, another tool. A histogram is a bar graph that shows the frequency of data. So for example, it is used to geographically, it's used to graphically summarize and display the distribution and variation of a process data set. It provides the easiest way to evaluate distribution of data. बहुत सारे bar chart, graph इस तरह के आते हैं. For example, this is a histogram. अब उसी data को, when we present it in a graphical format, it is much easier to see now which is the biggest problem. For example, skip stitch here is the biggest problem. So visually, when everything is presented to us, it can create an immediate picture in our mind that, okay, where do we need to focus? The next tool is Pareto charts, where basically the Pareto chart can be used to display the categories of problems graphically so that they can be prioritized accordingly. So first of all, it's an 80-20 rule. So we need to identify the 80%, 20% which are causing 80%. Generally, that is what happens. A Pareto chart is a diagram that indicates which problem to tackle first by showing the proportion of the total problem that each of the smaller problem comprises of. So this is based on the principle that 20% of the sources cause 80% of the problem. Normally, that is how the case is. For example, here, the same data, if we present in a Pareto chart, then it will say, okay, skip stitches 28, 24. Now, if you see these two, the first two, there are total 5 of problems. Out of this, 2 are causing the largest portion, okay? So the largest portion of the entire, so 2 reasons out of the 6 are causing most of the problems, 80% of the problems. Then there's another tool, which is basically analysis tool and cause and effect fishbone diagram. And these are also called Ishikawa diagrams. And I'll come to the... So cause and effect basically helps to determine the root cause. So whenever there is a quality problem, whenever there's a data set that we have, and if we want to do the further root cause analysis of that, the fishbone diagram is very helpful in that. So it helps to determine the root cause of a problem of quality characteristics using a structured approach. So it encourages group participation and utilizes group knowledge of the process, use an orderly, easy to read format to diagram cause, indicates possible causes of variation in a process, and increases knowledge of a process. So for example, here, if you see the skip stitches being the biggest cause in the same example, why the skip stitches was being caused. Now, if you see, there could be problem of manpower, inefficiency, machine problem might be there, machine timing or machine tension, material could be there, method could be there. Now, if we had data for each one, then we would be able to highlight that, okay, due to machine, 40% of the time skip stitches occur due to machine reason or due to material reason or due to, so it's further root causing the analysis, root causing the problem. So that when you are eradicating or when you're working on the root of the problem, then you are basically taking a quality assurance step in order to prevent the problem for incurring. So the idea is to further ensure that the problem does not repeat. Then there is another tool called scatter diagram. So a scatter diagram is showing the correlation between two variables in a process. So basically it also shows the trends. So the scatter diagram pairs the numerical data with one variable on each axis to look at the relationship between them. So if the variables are correlated, the points will fall along a line or curve. But for better correlation, the tighter the points will hug the line. For example, here, if you see there is a lot of these are all scatter diagrams. So this is positive correlation. So it's going up. Positive correlation may be present. So there are different interpretation for all these. There's negative correlation as well. So if there are two factors, एक बड़ा होता है, दूसरा हमेशा कम हो जाता है. So this way we can see that for different defects, what is the correlation of different factors, defects in between them. So then there is a concentration diagram, which is another way. So let's say we have a sketch. The quality controller has a sketch, and every time there is a mark. He puts a mark on the area where the defect is occurring. Now, over a period of one day, if you look at that diagram, it will become something like this. If the problems are constantly repeating on one area, that means on the concentration diagram, you will be able to see which are the areas which are causing you major issues, basically. So a control chart, also known as, like another quality tool is a control chart. So control chart is also known as process behavior chart. So it's a statistical process control that are used to determine to manufacture or business process in a state of statistical control. So if you see, this is how control. So the control chart has upper control limit, UCL and LCL, lower control limit, and process average is there. So basically, you are giving a tolerance to the upper limit and the lower limit. For example, if I want in the quality, I want my defect rate to be between 10 to 15%. So 15% is my UCL and 10% is my LCL. Now, if this is my actual quality performance, that means I am within that range. But if I go beyond that range, I would immediately come to know whether I'm in the normal range or not in the normal range. Then another one is a flow chart. A flow chart basically is a graphic representation of a logical sequence of events of any manufacturing process. So, for example, अगर हमें जब SOPs बनानी होती हैं या किसी भी चीज को define करना होता है in a proper sequence, we take help of flow charts. So, or the organization chart, similar formalized structure. So basically, it's a very logical way of drafting any process. So, for example, this is for trims and accessories. The first thing is color and specification check. So this is how the SOP for doing trims and accessories, that you have to check the color and specification, whether it is pass or fail. If it passes, then you have to go for lab test. Then lab test, if it passes, then you have to do countable AQL 1.5 level. That means you're checking the quantity and non-countable 10% inspection. Then if it fails, you have to communicate with the merchandiser. So there is a certain process that is defined for every single situation. And then if it passes the lab test, then you have to make the report. After the countable AQL level is done, and if that passes, then the trim card is made and approved. But if it fails, then there is 100% inspection. So basically, on AQL level, you're auditing. But if it is failing there, then you are doing 100% inspection. After 100% inspection, it could be rejected or it could be accepted. If it is rejected, then it's got to be separated and sent back to the supplier. However, if it is passed, then you can use it. And if it passes the AQL level, then trim cards will get made and the delivery to the sewing line will. So this is a general example of how the SOPs are formed. So this is a very small SOP for trims and accessories, how from receiving to issuing to the finishing section or sewing section. So all of that, and now in spite of all the procedures, all the quality assurance, the TQM, all the tools, the quality controller tools, or the quality 7QC tools, in spite of all that, there are many causes, many reasons for which there is a poor quality which is there. So what causes of poor? What are the major causes of poor quality? First of all, poor cutting, inadequate production controls and systems, poor production planning, incorrect combination of fabric and trims, inferior or poorly maintained equipment, incorrect materials, poor garment design. All of this can cause poor quality. Now, key factor to produce a अनक्वालिटी गारमेंट, एब्सेंस ऑफ क्वालिटी अवेयरनेस. लोगों को पता ही नहीं है अगर आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ये होता क्या है, क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस कैसे करना है. सिर्फ चेक कर लगाने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. चेक कर लगाने से आप अपने काम को कॉस्ट ही बढ़ा रहे हो. बट इफ यू डोंट डू क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस, then checker will only help up to a certain extent. It cannot build quality. It can only inspect quality. Unavailability of quality monitoring tools. Again, this is very important. People have so many checkers, so many processes, but they do not have a transparent tool to measure the quality performance. अगर मुझे किसी से पूछना हो कि आप मेरे फिनिशिंग में एक चेकर खड़ा उसने कितने पीस चेक किए, most of the factories are not even doing a proper report for that. The reports are being at the end line quality, and that too also no, there is no definitive I would say proof that the person actually checked it, because he is filling so many reports, whether he is filling, and I've seen before the buyer comes in the factories, क्वालिटी का पूरा टीम जो है वो बैठ के पूरी रिपोर्ट्स पिछले एक हफ्ते की कंप्लीट करता है, पिछले एक महीने की. कहीं कुछ मांग लिया तो कुछ गलती ना. So that means the data that when it was recording was not proper or not up to the mark. So people are, fulfilling all the requirements at the end. Poor material handling, inferior quality of raw material, communication gap, incomplete information, which is not passed from right person to the right time. Often there is a lot of communication gap. If you see in terms of quality, the product starts from product development team, then there's merchandising team, then there's pattern master, then there is sampling division. After sampling, it goes to merchandiser, then it's handed over to production. There are mechanics, there are industrial engineers, there's so anywhere all the way. So merchant is the only person communicating with the buyer. So she is the only person, he or she is the only person who knows the customer requirement. At any stage, if there is any lapse in translating those requirements to the down level, that can create a lot of quality problems. And a lot of time, the cause of the quality problem is a communication gap between different levels. So there could be two communication gap. One is that it was not communicated properly. Second, it was communicated, but it was not understood properly. And when that happens, basically, so merchant is explaining to the production team, then production team will further explain to the cutting team, the cutting team will further explain to somebody else. So there is a dilution. So it's like a Chinese whisper. The story becomes totally different, the standard becomes totally different. So it becomes very, very important to maintain the communication the proper communication. So information is passed but not understood by the user, known maintenance, machines, untrained checking personnel, untidy flows, use of damaged equipment, production team, biased on quantity, then quality. बहुत सारी जगह तो क्वालिटी और प्रोडक्शन वाले के अंदर साठ-गांठ हो जाती है. So that's why they say that quality person should never report to the production GM. If the quality is not controlled, however, if in case the quality of the product and process is not being controlled from beginning to the end, it will cause the following. So First of all, of course, naturally there will be a high alteration and rejection of garments, which will lead to a lot of cost of quality and requirement of extra manpower for checking and goods and repair work. The factory may lose customers as well as brand value. आप हमेशा अगर कस्टमर को डिफेक्ट ही बना के दे रहे हैं तो दैट मीन्स ऑफ कोर्स द कस्टमर विल लूज द ट्रस्ट इन यू and therefore will cause you a loss of business in the future. Then low motivated employees, if there is no business, of course, need to work for extra hours. If you are putting so many, if you're producing so many defects, in order to correct them, you have to put overtime. And the moment you're doing that, there's a delay in production completion. You're not able to deliver in time. So ultimately, production cost will increase if one ignores the quality control area in the manufacturing stage. It's very, very important. So we have to work on all the ends in order to ensure that the quality is matching with the customer standards. We have to have quality assurance in place. We have to have quality control in place. And if we can do TQM, then we can truly achieve the customer delight. I had kept 15 minutes, but we have left with 20 for you for the interaction. If you have any further queries or questions, we can do interaction now. I planned for 15, but it's okay. We're still free in 5 minutes. So it's very, very important in the industry. I'll tell you a very nice, a little story where it's a very old story where the American and the Japanese, how Japanese see the quality. So Americans actually placed an order for certain parts in Japan, and they said that we would not accept, we would only accept 1% defective parts. And the order was for 10,000 pieces. It's not garment, it's auto parts, 10,000 pieces, and 1% of that is 100. So what the Japanese did when the shipment came, the Japanese actually had 100 piece, they produce 100 defective pieces in order to fulfill the requirement of the customer, because the American has said that we would accept only 1% defective. So they were under the impression that they would only accept the shipment if they produced 1% defective. So they produced 10,000 perfect things and 100 defective items and packed them with the shipment that this is as per your requirement, we have produced 1% defective as well. The Americans were really, really shocked because the way Japanese perceive quality is totally different. So there's no such thing as defects for them. They aim for 6 Sigma, so which is like 1 in a million. So that's where the world is, and that's where we are. But we have a long way to go, and it's an ever evolving thing. Over to you.
Thank you for a very insightful session, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I hope people are not sleeping.
People are enjoying.
Very nice session, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunana, ma'am.
Okay, Jim. Any questions, any point of discussion, if you guys want, or otherwise you can just enjoy a 15 minutes break.
Now the forum is open for the questions and sessions.
Sure. So your institute is in Jalandhar?
At Ludhiana, madam.
Ludhiana, yeah, sorry, Ludhiana. And what all courses you are offering, sir?
We are offering UG programs, BSc in Network Design and Technology and BSc in Fashion Designing.
Okay.
Both are three-year degree programs.
So it's affiliated to NIFT Mohali, is it?
It is a branch of NIFT Mohali
I see.
Center
Yeah.
and affiliated with Punjab Technical University, Jalandhar.
Yeah. Now both of you are
Yes.
affiliated.
Yes. We have also the third center at Jalandhar.
Yeah, I thought that is why I heard.
Yes.
Okay. So the faculties are all NIFT Ludhiana do
Yes.
in this session? Yeah.
No, we have a faculty from only Ludhiana and Jalandhar Center, apart from the faculty members from other institute, Textile Institute from Pan India.
Okay.
Yes,
I see.
yes.
Okay.
I am from fine arts background, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. But I have this textile. I have been worked in textile factory this earlier. This as in a color for the colorways.
Haji.
And earlier in this Bombay and GM Textiles at Boiser and this they called place called Billard.
Mm-hmm.
I've been worked in for this jacquard weaving. This jacquard weaving. This I used to have this now for screen printing. Also the upholstery. That's for making the colorways and making for this. I have learned this so much in this industrial experience rather than this screen printing. This large scale and as a work as in a colorways to set up the colorways. In when I'm been studying this, I've been like an intern. This when I'm in Baroda school.
After so much experience, you can't be intern.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, right now I've been working in this lovely professional university. That's as an assistant professor. That's in a printmaking department. Actually, I studied my bachelor's and master's in printmaking, graphic arts. Yes, in bachelor's I studied in Andhra University in Visakhapatnam, and master's I've studied in graphic arts in Baroda, Maharaja Sahajra University. And later on, I've been worked as a freelancing. In between this after in masters only, I have been learned this about the jacquard weaving and upholstery, chinelli, each and everything. This production I have learned so much. 3 months I've been there, and that's why I'm being interested towards to upgrade the technology. I have seen this today's in early morning session and this evening session. I have seen the technology was quite drastically has been changed. That's I doesn't know about in this span of 15 years. It's a lot of technology has been improvised. I've been in the PPTs. That's I know about only jacquard weaving. That's the floppy disk. That's another easy to put at on the looms and everything, power looms. But I doesn't know about the technology which have this relief, plaster, the 3D technology, the body. That's shoes.
Yeah. I mean nowadays it's like there's no end to it. You know, there's also robotics in the sewing where in t-shirts there are sew boats which are basically you take the fabric and it can do a standard t-shirt.
Yes. So for this furnishing, I have been learned about the chinelli. That's quite interesting. This the yarn, the spindles where this. I've been very impressive in this when I've been working in GM Textiles. Thus, even in the designs also, the most of the designs which I created, this it has been passed for this furnishing for the jacquard and for the screen printing, this upholstery. This I've been very happy. This those designs have been running even the present day also. This which I designed in 2004, 2005, 6.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, this giving me the opportunity for this. Yes, sir.
Hope you are enjoying the
Pleasure
program.
is mine. Thank you.
Any other participant wants to share his or her feedback?
चाय का टाइम हो गया सर, सबको चाय पिलाओ आप.
Okay. Okay, madam. Thanks a lot for a very insightful session on the quality, madam.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay.
That's
Have a
very
good day. Bye bye. All the
Okay.
best to everyone.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay. Thank you. And dear participants, tomorrow we will again start the program sharp at 9:30 on selection of swimming